Welcome to the Cinefied podcast, the show where we enlighten you on what film to watch next. My name is John. I'm joined today by Peter and Tiffany. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello.
And today, oh boy, we're talking Disclosure Day, the sci-fi thriller from Steven Spielberg, his latest film since 2022's The Fablemans. The reaction consensus for Disclosure Day is that there does not seem to be a consensus. Response has been all over the place, and I'm excited to chat with you two about your thoughts. This film is filled with so much. We're talking ethics, secrecy, empathy, faith, media, society, fear, and little glowing rocks. But let's summarize quickly before diving in. So, this Disclosure Day summary is: if you found out you weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you? And our own Trevor, another writer from Cinefied, he gave Disclosure Day a full popcorn review, more on or rating, more on that later. But his full popcorn review for Disclosure Day, available right now on Cinefied.com, goes a little something like this. Some may even consider this a soft sequel to his 1977 film Close Encounters of the Third Kind, as a lot of themes, ideas, and designs are similar. But Disclosure Day still stands on its own as a science fiction thriller that's bound to go down as one of Spielberg's staple films. So, sadly, I wish Trevor could join us. He was scheduling conflicts prohibited his involvement today, but we're gonna roll with it with Tiffany and with Peter. So let's quickly hear y'all's initial thoughts on Disclosure Day. Best parts, worst parts, and Peter, we'll start with you.
I like just gonna say the discourse around this film has been wild. Like I was like, out of all the films that I just didn't think that this would be the one that would make people go insane. Like worst thing ever. I'm like see more movies for starters if this is
Yeah.
the worst thing ever. Like you don't have to like it, that's fine. But that sort of hyperbole just makes me go, ugh. But I like I really liked this. I thought obviously like it's not perfect and like I don't know if it's gonna be one of like Spielberg's, defining sort of films, but I really appreciate this narrative of, what would happen if we were sort of presented with the truth. And, I have my own thoughts on like the fact that we can't be alone. Like that would be so, yeah, I feel like there's got to be something else out there. But in terms of like best parts, I'm gonna say like obviously the train sequence was kind of like a nice little jolt of energy in the film. Emily Blunt's performance is insanely amazing, and also Courtney Grace at the end of the film as the news reporter. That just like what 5 minute look walks away with the film. Like that was I was almost like, oh, I kind of wish that this was more of what the film was because it felt like it started to really get interesting at the tail end. But yeah, I just thought like I was like I could watch a whole movie of her just talking about what we're seeing. So yeah, I just like I'm one of the people that sort of are in the positive camp for this film. But yeah,
Quick pitch idea, Peter. Quick pitch idea. We remake War of the Worlds from a couple years back with Ice Cube with Courtney Grace as the talking
I
head. I
mean,
think we would have gotten a much better product. She
yeah,
was
like
phenomenal.
I mean anything is going to make the Ice Cube War of the Worlds better, really.
It's got nowhere to
Um,
go but up. It's okay.
yeah, but no, she like just like yeah, she was like yeah. I think one of the first things I said after that screening was like I was like she was incredible. Like who was she? And thank now I see online that she's getting rightfully her her flowers for everything. So yeah, I would say that she was her and Emily Blunt's performances are kind of like the two things that I'm absolutely walking away with this film from.
Awesome. Anything that took you out of Disclosure Day? Anything you kind of wish they had tweaked or done a little better?
It's sort of just like there was parts in the middle where I was like I kind of wanted a bit more momentum because I was like, I really liked the ideas that it was sort of peppering about. I was like, I don't know if Josh O'Connor and Emily Blunt are meant to be the same age because of how they are as kids, and I was like, that doesn't work out if that's the case. But yeah, I just think some things in the like, I was like, there was a lot that I was like, I know, like, I want you guys to get where you're going just a little bit faster. And it wouldn't have hurt Colin Firth to be a bit more Colin Firthy, if that makes sense. He felt very, very like.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down, Peter.
Yeah.
I get it. All right. Thank you. Tiffany, what are your highs and lows for Disclosure Day?
So I went into this movie not really expecting much. Like I knew it was a Spielberg alien movie. It's gonna be fun. Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor. I love Josh O'Connor, so I'm just like, oh, it already gets 5 stars out of me for that. But I really was digging it for like the good first half of the movie. I was really having fun with it. Are we in spoiler territory, or like, are we not saying too much?
Oh, yes. So, great question. Yes, we are going deep into spoilers, as deep as we need to get into spoilers for this podcast. So, listeners, viewers, be warned. Please proceed, Tiffany.
Okay, yeah. So there's a scene at the beginning where the cardinal flies into her window and lands on her table and locks eyes with her, and you don't, as the viewer, don't know what's happening yet. She doesn't really know what's happening yet either. And then she like is having this discussion with the beautiful Wyatt Russell, and then she flees out the door. And she was talking to him about how she wants to move again, and he's like, we can't keep moving, and like all this stuff. And then the song by Gwen Stefani's Sweet Escape comes on as she's escaping into her red vehicle, like the cardinal, and like speeding off. I was like, okay, I'm in. Like, this is great. I love this. It was so fun to me. And then just her like getting into the news station and like seeing like what she does every day. Like, it was so fun. And then I was having a lot of fun with like all the Josh O'Connor scenes. Like, I've been hearing a lot of people like saying that he like wasn't that like his kid. They didn't do much with his character. I've been seeing a lot of criticism on that. I don't really think I agree. I think he did a really good job. But I do kind of agree with Peter about the Colin Firth thing. I was like, I will admit, I didn't realize he was in this movie. And then when I saw him for the first time, like turn around in that like parking garage or wherever they were, I chuckled to myself because I was like, what's he doing here? I didn't realize he was like going to be in this. But then he was just so like nothing the whole way. And I was like, oh, and there's this like scene where like he's trying to get the information out of what's her name, and he's just he's just asking her like all these questions. I'm like, okay, we could have shaved this scene down a little bit. Like, I thought they were doing something really interesting with like, oh, it's gonna subvert our expectations to some degree. Like, he's asking for her information, but like, I'm like, are they gonna do like a bait and switch where it's like Silence of the Lambs, where it's like they think they're getting close to and then you realize like it's not. Like, I don't know, but I was like, oh, she just gave them her location, and that was it. It was a buildup for nothing. And I was just like, kept finding little moments like that where I was like, oh, okay, but I was still having fun with it. Then we get to the train scene, and I was like, so taken out of it. I don't know what it was, but I just like at that point of the film, I kind of just took a backseat. I was like, all right, this is gonna be something different. I didn't know what I was walking into, but I was just like, I don't know, that train scene when the car gets pinned and they're getting dragged, and I don't know what it was, but it just felt so over sensationalized, I think. And it's a movie about aliens. Like, come on, Tiffany, be so real. But they lost me. I don't know. And I did like a lot of the rest of, like, there's a lot of parts during the rest of the movie that I thought was really fun, but there was a lot of things that I just fell really flat, and we can get into more of it later. But overall, I think I'd give it a 6 out of 10 right now, because I just was like, I liked a lot of it, and I didn't hate it by any means. Like, I will definitely watch it again. I will probably purchase it on Blu-ray at some point, because it was a really fun watch. But I think I don't know. I think I lean towards the other way. Like, I agree with a lot of what Peter said, but I lean towards the negative, the negative part of the spectrum.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Well, that's great synthesis from both of you. So, as far as my take on Disclosure Day, I do not share the joy that either of you two, and especially Trevor, feels for Disclosure Day. I was watching this film and I felt like I needed to have the mouth guard that Colin Firth had in that chair getting through this movie. Not that it's a clinically bad movie. It's Spielberg and has great performances. There's lots to appreciate in Disclosure Day. John Williams' score, of course, Emily Blunt's fantastic performance, even Colin Firth. Coleman Domingo can do no wrong in my eyes. Um, but I was watching this with my girlfriend, and we're having like a discussion while we're watching the movie, and we're like, "What's the opposite of competency porn?" That's what this movie felt like to me. It's like everyone was making the worst decisions at any given time, and I got so frustrated. And I sat with it for a while. I walked out of the theater. I had to process it, and like, was that the movie doing that, winding me up on purpose? Probably. That's on part, especially like on the train, not getting into the train, but when they're on the train later, like that scene was really hard for me. But that was, I think, too on purpose to do that. But like the Wyatt Russell character, oh my gosh, I wanted to throw him off a cliff like that one car.
Yeah.
Like it was so aggravating.
Yeah.
He plays it well. So
Yeah.
I think the writing is what really, like, everything was great, but the writing, the actual storytelling was crappy. Cinematography was great. So I don't want to, I don't want to put it all out there just yet. But those are my initial thoughts. I've only seen it the one time, and we'll check back in with my thoughts later. But let's keep it moving. Um, so, and let's go. What I did like about Disclosure Day was like some of the thematic elements, which is very very Spielberg. And so I want to ask either of you or both of you, because the premise of Disclosure Day hinges on the societal and political consequences of exposing a long-standing government cover-up, rather than just simply proving that extraterrestrials exist. If you were in Daniel's shoes, if Josh O'Connor's shoes, what action would you take? Would you disclose as well? What are your thoughts?
Tiffany, do you want to?
Oh, yeah. I would be doing what Daniel's doing. Ain't no way am I gonna sit by and work for a company that just like is trying to keep that from everybody. I love the scene at the end where they're like sounding everything off on all the broadcast channels, and they're like clear feed. They're like running clear feed because it's for everybody. I was like, oh, this is so great. Like, I love this. Yeah, I'm all for disclosing.
All right, Peter, what do you got?
Yeah, it's one of those things where like, yes, but I would also be like terrified of the intimidation side of things as well. But I would, like if it was that sort of simple, like, yes, I would wanna disclose, because we deserve to know. It's so, it's like so selfish and like narcissistic of the government to sort of think like no one else deserves to know this. Like, yeah, we absolutely do. So yeah, I would be the same in terms of wanting to disclose, wanting it to get it out there. Let's see what happens. But I won't lie and say that like if someone was like threatening someone I loved, I'd be like, I don't want anything to happen to them. So that side of things would,
Right.
But I would probably be the thing where I'm like, oh, I can give this information to someone, like, and I
Kind
can
of pass
help.
the buck.
I can help it be disclosed, but like,
You can enable the disclosure.
yeah.
Yeah, like I guess that's like the big question. Like I think Spielberg often poses these in his films about like these ethical dilemmas. Like, what would you do? What is the right thing? What's the best? What is the utilitarian position to take, and is that the right choice to make? I think I would also disclose, just because I think like I believe in the justice of the knowledge for everybody. But I would have to really weigh the consequences, because that is a huge bomb to drop on the whole world.
I mean, it is that case of like I guess we're lucky in this that disclosing it showed that they, for as far as we know, were quite, um, quite calm, gentle beings as far as we can see. But obviously, we don't, you don't know if disclosing it meant Independence Day sort of destruction where they decide
Right.
to So but it's not surprising that it's like, no, the government is awful. So it's like, of course we've been, and like that was the thing that like I got a bit teary at the end when it was showing the like essentially the alien children being like taken away. I was like, oh, this is like, that was really quite heartbreaking when you sort of look at it as this is just like, there's a lot of commentary on like getting rid of aliens in the terms of what that can mean. But yeah, I was sitting there going like, this is, and like you see like the government and they like walking with the aliens like holding their hands, and you're like, that's them leading children,
And they're so little. Yeah.
That's it. And it's like that was really, really like that got me. And that's the sort of thing where you go, okay, this is what needs to be known, like what's actually happening, because that's not far from what's sort of happening in general.
Yeah, I like that you brought that up, because I was like devastated watching that footage towards the end where they're showing you all the archival footage, and the ones with all the little guys, and then but there's one where like there's just one alien just like sitting on the ground, and it's all these people crowded around him, and they like take his blanket and it zooms in on him, and he's just sitting there scared. And I was upset. I was like, oh no. I'm like, no, like they have, and the way that they treated these creatures, it you're right, it was brilliant commentary on like what's going on in the world right now. And in when the news anchors are like, you want us to pause our coverage on World War III for this? And it's like yeah, like because we need to listen to each other.
Yeah, I think it was like, I also, Peter, to your point, for all the criticisms I have against this film, when they're giving us that highlight reel of all those different snippets of footage, like I also found myself kind of getting a little heavy in my chest, because I knew what Spielberg is doing there. He's just holding that reflective lens right back at us for all these these parallel themes and parallel stories, which is the mark of a good storyteller. And I think that's one of his strengths. That's one of the movie's strengths for me, is actually some of the thematic elements that do kind of bleed through. So yeah, I guess it's kind of like, it kind of ties into the next question I have about Spielberg and his legacy. So does Disclosure Day, in the estimation of the two of you, does Disclosure Day add to or subtract from the legacy of Steven Spielberg? Granted, we have to understand there's some recency bias. This just came out, and we're looking at this with very, very fresh eyes. But how does this fit in the pantheon of his work, do you think? And will time be kind to this film? We'll start with Tiffany, if you're up for it.
So I was thinking about this a lot today, and I think it's a little too soon to tell. I'm very interested how we're going to be talking about this movie in like 10 years from now. But I see what he was doing. I appreciate the messaging, especially like right now. Like I think it was a really interesting film to put out right now, but I'm really not sure it takes away or adds to the legacy of his like alien world. You've got a lot of like little hints, and it kind of feels like he's like making an homage to his own work in a way. Like you have that scene that literally when the train scene starts, you have that like Tiffany. That what?
That's a good point.
Oh yes. It's you see the car pull up behind them, as happens in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You got John Williams score. You have I'm gonna botch his name. Janis Kaminski as the DP, who is the DP for War of the Worlds.
Janusz
Yeah,
Kaminski.
yes. Thank you.
You're
A lot of the lighting and cinematography was very reminiscent of War of the Worlds, and so I feel like I'm not sure. It's definitely not anything that reinvents the wheel of the alien abduction story, but I definitely don't think it didn't really do anything super different for me that I was like, wow, like this really stands out compared to his other work. It kind of felt at sometimes a little bit derivative for some parts, like when you see Emily Blunt's character flashback when she gets abducted by the aliens, it's just very like a sterile room with fluorescent lights and an operating table, and like I'm like, could we have done something a little bit visually different than what people are so used to when they see that trope, or like what they read from real people who, like, you know, who testify, have testimonies that like they've experienced this too, and it's like this trope that everyone knows, but I'm like, ooh, I think we could have done something a little visually different. Okay, when we bring the alien out, like, I'm waiting. There's this buildup, like, not happening. So, like, it doesn't really stand out to me the way that the other films do, if that makes any sense. So I'm kind of like, it kind of just sits in the middle. I feel like it's not going to really go one way or the other. I think it's just a nice little installation into him right now as a filmmaker, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a lot of parallels and hints, callbacks, visually, stylistically to Close Encounters. That I think, because it kind of bookends his career, because that Close Encounters is way early on back in the 70s, and this is like towards his really Spielberg's twilight. Like, the man's not getting any younger. So I think you're right. There's a lot of good callbacks and recalls there. And it does make sense what you're saying. Like, it feels like, I don't know, not like a filler episode per se, but it does feel kind of like a stepping stone to something better, maybe, hopefully, maybe his swan song to come. So I guess time will tell, though. Peter, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, if Tiffany kind of perfectly summed it up in that, I don't think it takes anything away. It is very soon to sort of say what, like, yeah, time could be incredibly kind to this. Time might be awful. Like, we've just got to see. But even, you know, like, an average Spielberg movie is still like better than a lot of other stuff that comes out. But I think what you were saying, Tiffany, is spot on in terms of there's a lot of like leaning into tropes, and you sort of think, oh, like when we think of Spielberg, we think, oh, he's usually so like innovative and like on the cusp of doing something else, and then we get this. But then it also made me think, like, this movie does have a very like 80s sensibility about it as well, and I think that's Spielberg almost, like sort of referencing his own work in a way. It's kind of funny that this comes after the Fabelmans, because like if you looked at his career, like Fabelmans feels like the kind of movie that should be his swan song almost.
Sure.
But I think it's just too soon to really talk about this in terms of like Spielberg's legacy. But yeah, I definitely don't think it takes away. But we've just got to see what happens in terms of the kind of themes that it's putting out there, and seeing what happens in the world in the next however many years to know, wow, like maybe in 10 years time we just go, wow, Spielberg was right. Like, we just don't know. But
yeah, we just don't know. You're right. I mean, so go ahead. Sorry, I don't cut you off.
Yeah, I just think that it's because it's still so fresh. But I just definitely think it's like, it's not like, oh, he's lost his touch. Like, it's not anything like that. No. Like, he's still Steven Spielberg. Like, it's still pretty great.
Yeah, like it's weird because like it doesn't hit you in the face like a Saving Private Ryan or a Jurassic Park, or in some degrees Ready Player One. I'm not comparing those as equals, just for the reference. I'm just saying like, because for every Ready Player One, you get like a Munich, or you get a Bridge of Spies. You get like a little more somber, quieter Spielberg, and this kind of seems like it kind of ebbs and flows in the middle of like being like a 1-2 punch, like even like a Hook, which really hasn't stood the test of time too well, but at the time it was just everywhere. Um, then you have like, I don't know, The Terminal, you know. So there's a spectrum of Spielberg to consider here, and I'm still trying to like really place where I would in the continuum of his work, where I would place Disclosure Day, and because I think like it's definitely got a profound impact on what it's trying to say and the type of film that it is. It's not a quiet film. It's very, very kinetic. It's very, very fast, and it's got a lot to say. I think it kind of just gets ahead of itself and kind of, again, that's my own recency bias because I saw it 2 days ago, and I'm still working on my thoughts through it. Um, but one good thing I wanted to bring up, I didn't give you all the cheat sheet for this, so surprise. I'm gonna go ahead and go first and say my favorite part of this film. I'm gonna ask y'all's favorite part. Just that's your spoiler warning. My favorite part is actually that 4 minute or so oneer that follows Emily Blunt coming into the studio. It's very, very anxiety inducing because she's trying to get ready. She's running late. She's doing all these things. She's talking these different languages. And she's already met the cardinal. So we're already kicked into gear that something is picking up, and we have to be really mindful. And then it all closes in. It ends on that close up of her in front of the screen when she starts talking her alien gibberish. I thought that if I were to show somebody a scene from Disclosure Day to kind of project what they could expect from a film like this, that's what I would show them. It's my favorite scene of the whole movie. What you guys feel is your favorite moment or sequence from Disclosure Day?
Well, I did talk about I talked about the scene earlier with the cardinal, and then she gets in the red car and goes away. I really like that scene, but I also really like this scene. What is I don't know the characters' names. What is Josh O'Connor's name in this movie? Daniel. What is his girlfriend's name?
Girlfriend.
The girlfriend. Okay. She has a name. Is it Rachel? I feel like it's Rachel. I don't know
Rachel.
why.
Hold, please. Keep going. I will get back to you.
Anyway.
It's Jane.
It's what?
Jane.
Jane. Thank you. I don't know why I'm like a Rachel on my mind.
Jane Blankenship. Well done, Peter. Way to be on top of the game. I like the host.
Jane. I like the scene where they first get to the farmhouse, and they're having this really heated discussion, and I think it's right after this movie is so fresh to me, and I'm gonna botch this, but it's my favorite scene and I don't remember it. She's literally asking him, she's like, well, why do we need to show everybody this? And it's literally like the film going back and forth about like the whole reason of why they need to disclose this information. And she's like, well, yes, I believe in God, and like this is going to ruin people's beliefs in religion. Like they're going to turn away from it if they know the truth about it. Like the film's having its own moral dilemma in front of you. And
yes, this is a great scene. The whole crisis of faith.
It's so good. And it's like, for me, that's the eye of the duck of the whole movie. And there's a little trick of the camera where it goes down to her eyes. And I'm like, now I like want to go rewatch. I wish I had a clip of it to like put in here, but it's so good. And it's like the movie just like doing its job of like telling you like what to look at, who to listen to, what's going on, and like ignore like all the bits of exposition. Like this is the crux of why we're here. And you as the viewer also have to like think about these things too the rest of the way through. And if I were to show somebody this, I'm like, that would be the scene that I'm most excited for them to see, because I think it's one of the most important scenes of the whole movie. But I also liked yours too, John, because I really like that scene. Always like a good one.
but I did like the scene you brought up, Tiffany, because it kind of, not that Jane is a selfish person, but it's a question of faith. Like, am I willing to put my faith on the line to disclose all this information?
Yeah.
It's almost it's kind of selfish. It's kind of self-preserving. So, you're right. It kind of just it just hot potatoes that to the audience, like, oh shit, like, I say you are a believer in God or whatever, and like, are you up to having your faith challenged this way? And what does it mean to your faith? And so, and yeah, and then also his framing, Spielberg's
Mm-hmm.
framing, him and Janusz Kaminski's like camera work was really
So good. So
you know
good.
so he does that similarly in Jurassic Park in the control room a few times. Um, just as an aside, it's a trademark Spielberg trick of the book. But Peter, how about yourself, sir?
Well, yeah, you took mine because I was basically like Emily Blunt's introduction is just like the greatest thing. Just from the moment we see her in the apartment all the way up to like her talking the alien language, I was like, oh, just best. And but to bring in something new because we need to have a little bit of variety. I do really, really like the scene where she's holding the device and everything's like invisible to everyone, and the government agents are walking through and they're like hitting the cars that they can't see. It just had this there was like this real like sense of kind of like, oh, like Spielberg whimsy to it
Mm-hmm.
that sort of made me just like think of
Yeah,
like
it
things
petered
to
on
do, like,
gimmicky, but it was
yeah,
actually kind of it was just corny enough to work.
Yeah.
yeah, like it
It
just
felt magical.
Yeah.
and especially because like by that point, we've kind of gone this ebb flow of like a lot of emotion. We've had the action sequence with the train. It just kind of felt like another kind of nice little wave without going too over the top. It sort of just hit like a bit of a sweet spot of like, this feels like it belongs in this movie, even though it's kind of like taking a little bit of a detour, like mentality wise. But I really thought that was a lot of fun, and I also just want to quick, and it's like not really like a major scene, but it was just a little moment that actually really appreciated after the car sequence, and they're in the train carriage, and Emily Blunt is like, she's there and her hands are shaking and she's freaking out, and it just made me think of like in so many action movies when people have been involved in some kind of ridiculous stunt, they don't react in any sort of way. Like it's all like, oh, I've just been like swept off a building and now I've landed and I'm fine. The fact that she was like, her hands were shaking and she like, what she's just gone through has been incredibly traumatic. And like, I almost just died on a car jumping on a train. The fact that she sits there and they gave her that little moment of her just going, oh my God. And he places her hand. He's like, you need to calm down. I just really appreciated that because it made me go, yeah, after something like that, you would be freaking out over it.
Yeah.
As
someone really like
someone who has had panic attacks, I really appreciated being seen.
Yeah. Yeah, like
In
it
that
was just
scene.
a really small moment, and I just remember going, I really appreciated that because we've got to remember she's like, I'm not like she's a weather girl, like she's not used to this sort of stuff. So I like that it's like you're a regular person, you've been put in a very strange, crazy situation, you've almost died. It's very natural that you're going to want to have a little bit of a freak out. So I actually really appreciate that moment.
Yeah, I really like that. It took me a minute when they were in the train, they were in the train car, and I didn't quite understand at first, like when he put her hands to like ground her on the piano. I was like, okay, what's the point of the piano? I was like, why? Like, why pianos? Like, and why did he put her hands directly on the strings? And then later on, when you see her as a kid, like first being abducted, she like sings a song. And it's almost like, oh, like music is her like, it's her grounding.
It's your anchor
like,
point.
yeah. And so I thought I like that you brought that up because that took me a while to figure out. I was like, what is with that? That scene was good, and I'm glad it showed her freaking out because you're totally right. We always see them people in action movies and horror movies just like brush stuff off sometimes and then just like move on, and you're like, wait, whoa, 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 how did you do that? Like, what are you talking about? But yeah, I thought that was like a nice little key into her character as well.
I think another going back to your other scene that you mentioned, Tiffany, about Daniel and Jane talking about what should they do, disclosure or not. I think a better version of that scene happens later between Colin Firth and Coleman Domingo. I'm just gotta put up Coleman Domingo because I just love that guy.
He's
But
the
when
best.
they're basically being like the two avatars of two oppositional positions here, where Coleman Domingo is just like, no, this is what we ought to do, and they're having a great two-hander scene. It goes on for about 5 minutes, and that was my second favorite scene, because those guys can act their asses off. And then of course those people walk in. I felt like Colin Firth was like Agent Smith from the Matrix. Like he was just kind of like he could like, oh, they're here now, and he could
Yeah.
like. That part was kind of a little silly, but I dug it.
I loved that like we never really saw them in a scene together until that point. And it's like
Yeah.
it's like that John Mulaney bit where it's like you see like two people that come into a room together that it's like you could just sense that they know each other and they're like not cool with each other and they just start going at it. Like there's no introductions, they just start talking to each other, like that bit where John Mulaney's like, what were you two and the Eagles together? Like it's so good, and it felt so organic, and I'm like, oh yeah, these guys have a past. This is great. I feel like go ahead.
I was like, it feels like the kind of scene that like when people really start to dissect this movie, they'll be like, so does everybody agree that like Colin Firth and Coleman Domingo were totally together at one point? And now they're angry ex? And I was like, and then you watch the film with that and you go, oh, that's an ex-boyfriend, totally. Like,
I love that.
That's the real conspiracy theory here, Peter.
That's what I'm gonna think about
layers
now.
to Disclosure Day.
I love that.
Bingo Day.
Yes.
Do you all think? Listen, Spielberg has done the alien thing a few times before. How does do you think Disclosure Day tie into his alien motif? You know, we have Close Encounters, we have E.T., we have War of the Worlds. Like I told y'all earlier, I'm not counting AI because those are not aliens at the end of that film, and I'm just counting Kingdom of the Crystal Skull completely, mostly because that movie was dog shit, but also because they weren't actual aliens either. So, and I stand on business on that statement. Yeah, so going back and considering Close Encounters, ET, War of the Worlds, and now Disclosure Day. How does Disclosure Day kind of tie in? Is there like besides we've already discussed about the parallels in kind of like motifs between Close Encounters and Disclosure Day? Do you think this is like a strength of Spielberg's? How do we feel about his interpretation of aliens and his portrayal of them?
I'm just gonna quickly say about Crystal Skull because I'm just like
No, Peter.
No. I watched. No. This isn't like
you just mute him. No, I'm kidding.
I watched.
No, I wouldn't.
I'm
I watched the 4 Indiana Jones movies leading up to the 5th one that came out.
Dial of Destiny.
Yes, that one. And I remember being like, for the first like 2/3, I was like, why did I hate this movie? And then the alien thing happened, and I was like, this is why I fucking hated that movie. So you're very right to like not want to include it. I just wanted to get it out there that that ending completely ruins Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But in terms of this movie, like, I think perhaps one of the reasons why maybe this movie hasn't been as well received could be the fact that I think a lot of people were probably expecting this to be closer to War of the Worlds than what it is, because the trailers obviously like hype up a lot of the exciting moments, which is understandable. Like, you need to get butts in seats. You want people to look at this as more of an action movie. But it is closer to Close Encounters and ET. Like, it's closer to them than it is War of the Worlds. It's not as good as Close Encounters or ET, but yeah, I think I don't know, like maybe if it was marketed a bit different as like this is going to be more of a thinking movie than it is like a spectacle movie. But yeah, I think it is closer to those thematics than it is like big destruction War of the Worlds, even though it's got some of the same questions in War of the Worlds. But yeah, it's one of the more yeah, it's more of an intelligent alien movie, and I think a lot of people sort of went into this maybe expecting something else. But you know what? It's already made $100 million, so it doesn't matter now. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it more of like a sliding scale of like I feel like E.T. This isn't really like E.T., but E.T. kind of goes into War of the Worlds because Steven Spielberg, like, I think he's always been really into War of the Worlds, like the 1953 movie and like the like old like radio show and stuff. And like I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the design of E.T., like with his fingers, like the way his fingers are, like they're like bulbous at like the top, I think that was you can kind of see where he got that design from the 1953 version of War of the Worlds, where he got that like inspiration. And then when we get to like actual like War of the Worlds that he does make, I feel like this movie is more closer to that. Sorry, I just went on like a weird little like trivia ramble, but I feel like it's like a scale. Like he like has these like things that are kind of connected in a way based off his like previous like inspirations and stuff, but I can't really pin one thing that this movie really resonates with. I think the closest would be Close Encounters, but that's just like a very spiritual sister movie to this. But yeah, it kind of is its own thing, but at the same time it just feels like an amalgamation of like other space movies. Like, I know this isn't his movie, but like Contact, like a lot of it reminded me of Contact, and I love Contact, and so I will always think of a reason to talk about Contact. But it's what I appreciated about this movie was like, yes, it's like the government handling this, or like this like weird side company of the government. I don't really understand like what Colin Firth's company actually is. Maybe you guys can like help me understand it a little better, but like it wasn't like we're talking to the president and all these journalists and press. Like in a lot of like other movies that we've seen, it's very like focused around like that sort of coverage on it. But this movie kind of gets more like synced into just like one newsroom, which I just kind of appreciated. But yeah, I don't know. I liked the use of the broadcast signaling. I liked the use of like getting all the broadcast channels involved. I loved the scene with Courtney Grace. Like that kind of reeled me back in at the last minute, because there really isn't any, I can't recall anything like that in any of his previous movies. And I really like that it just stayed on her. And it wasn't like, oh, this is really weird, what's going on? Back to you, Ken. It's like she sits there and like deals with it. And she's like, I'm so sorry, like to the viewer. She's like working you through it too, as she's working herself through it. And yeah, I just went on a tangent. But I definitely don't think this movie is like any one copy of a different movie, or like, but I think it's more, if anything, it's more of a sister movie to Close Encounters. And I will end my rant. I just went on a spiel. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. I think, with Spielberg's thematic analysis of the human race, I think he keeps going back to aliens or to science fiction, but really aliens. I mean, you could argue Minority Report and AI as, in the sci-fi realm for sure. But I think he views the elements of humanity through the prism of alien movies. But I think Steven Spielberg is just still that little boy who wants to discover And so you have Close Encounters, and that's about like I guess spirituality a little bit, or curiosity. And you have ET, which is about family and it's about love. And War of the Worlds is like the indomitable human spirit and strength and resistance and resilience. And maybe Disclosure Day is about faith and ethical positions. And you know, it's interesting to explore because I think he finds very human themes to discuss and dissect through this very particular lens. I think he just likes playing in this sandbox because it just excites him. Um, I think I need more time to ruminate on Disclosure Day though, because I feel like it is an alien movie on the surface, like it's wearing the skin of an alien movie, but it's about people
Yeah.
and people's choices and tough spots. So I was not really gaga for Disclosure Day, but I think that's what he was going for. Um, anyway, but we're gonna pivot, guys. We're gonna pivot to some fun stuff. I sent y'all two fun things ahead of time. I'm gonna add a third fun thing, but you'll see what that is shortly. And then we'll close out with our ratings and our final thoughts. Um, so, Tiffany, if an alien came to Earth and you could show them one movie to represent Earth, humanity, whatever, what is that one movie you're showing the aliens? Let's hear it.
I- I've got three in mind, but they're not very good. They're not very good.
If they're your choices, they're good choices.
Wait, is
Let
it
them
one?
fly.
Is it
Name-
one or how many? You
well,
said
if
one.
I said one, but you wouldn't name three. Like, who am I to stop you? I'm not the thought police. It's not 1984.
This seemed like a good idea when I thought of this, and then I'm like, oh, this is embarrassing.
There's no wrong answers.
Okay. Well, it would first be my favorite movie of all time, Silence of the Lambs, because I will show anyone that movie.
Fucking A.
Another one would be Billy Madison, because that's my... It's a good movie. I don't know. I just want to show them good movies. I don't know.
Back to that sliding scale you're referencing earlier. I love it. I fucking love it. What's number three?
It's a tie between it's a tie between the Barbie movie or Greta Gerwig's Little Women. So they're both Greta Gerwig movies. But
Not Francis Ha? No.
no. I love that movie though, but I fear they might get confused.
I think aliens would really appreciate the thematic of the Barbie movie.
I think so
they
too.
they would get it. And Silence of the Lambs, I think they would be like, oh, people are awful.
Yeah, like it'd be great representation of like what to look out for, you know.
Yeah. But then be like, Jodie Foster is like, she's the good.
Yeah.
And then you've got Ted Levine, bad.
Yeah.
And you got Anthony Hopkins, and you're like, kind of in the middle. Like, he's actually watch that movie and you go, he's kind of doing the right thing.
He's kind of got a point. I don't know.
Yeah. He's bro's making sense. Okay.
He's the moral gray area.
Yeah.
So I get it. Yeah.
What are your picks, Pete?
Oh, like my immediate thing was like my favorite movies, and I'm like, I don't know if I don't think they're a representation of like what humanity is, but I would be like, hey, you guys want to be entertained? Like, let's watch some movies. So like my favorite movie of all time, and like the movie that got me into movies is Batman Returns, because I think aliens would be like, oh, Michelle Pfeiffer is the sexiest thing ever created. I'll be like, yeah, she is, and you can watch her in this. So that's that. I would also probably show like something like Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, just to be like, Like
Yes.
levity, love, light, amazing people. Like this is why you should save humanity, because look how great Mira Sorvino and Lisa Kudrow and Alan Cumming and Janine Garofalo
Yes.
and everybody is in that movie.
Oh my god, that
Um,
movie's so good.
It's so good. Oh, and then you know what? I'm just gonna choose a third one as well because all good things come in threes.
Mhm.
And another one of my favorite movies. I'm gonna say watch Scream because incredible. And again, lots of shades of different kind of people with their morals in that movie. And then I'd be like, hey, you guys can also see 11 minutes of the opening, 11 great minutes of an opening movie ever. So there you go.
There you go. I was gonna pick one, but now I'm inspired to pick three.
Yeah.
So I gotta show them a great example of great screenwriting. So I'm picking Chinatown. I'm gonna show them arguably the best action film ever made. That's Terminator 2: Judgment Day. And then great comedy, fun times. Makes you feel good inside. Also a sequel, also from the early '90s. I have to go Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze.
Okay,
Wow.
that's cool. Yeah.
Like
I
I have a
like-
stacked deck of
No, I
selection.
like that. For a minute there, I was like, great. He chose Chinatown and Terminator 2, and I'm like, Remy and Michelle, yeah. And then you go Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, okay, you brought it back. That's good. I like it.
Yeah. I'm not a pretentious snob, Peter. I just play one on TV. I promise.
No, my husband will listen to this and freak out when you say Terminator 2 Judgment Day. That is like, I'm not kidding, like one of his favorite movies of all time.
It's a good one.
Like he has
It's a good
Judgment
choice.
Day on his calendar in his phone. Annually comes
Oh,
up on my calendar.
It's coming up soon.
Yeah, and he
real life.
he literally will like he's like, forget Terminator 1. All you need to see is Terminator 2. Like he'll tell everybody. We have like 5 different versions of it on like different like forms of media. We have like multiple VHS copies, DVDs, Blu-rays, I think an HD DVD version of it. Like it's not like just crazy. I think he has I don't think it's Laserdisc. It's something else weird. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Well, I'm
But
glad you like
would
it.
it would probably be would it be considered the greatest action movie of all time? Like, is that kind of the general consensus?
I think that's what a lot of people say.
I feel
Yeah.
that it is.
Yeah.
I think the best first action movie of all time is probably Seven Samurai. But I think as far as like all the culminating elements of what make a good action film good, I think really crystallized in Terminator
Yeah.
2.
Like, I just feel like when people say greatest action movie, like Terminator 2 is kind of, like, even if you're not, like, even if you, like, it's just kind of the immediate thing,
Yeah.
I feel. It's like when people talk about it. And like, it's not like it's like unwarranted, like it is. Like, it's
No,
an incredible
yeah.
action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sort of feels like it's kind of that one movie that I haven't seen anybody ever say that they either don't like it or it's not good. Like, I feel like it's actually one of those movies that everybody agrees like is
Yeah.
great.
I've never met the person that says T2 sucks. Like,
Yeah.
they don't exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know who that
And
person
maybe,
is.
and you know what? Maybe we haven't met them because as soon as someone says it, they get killed. They're like, no, that's wrong.
No, they get
I
terminated, Peter.
terminated.
Terminated, yeah. All right, guys. We're got a few more questions, and we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Real quick, what's the last movie you watched? Could have been today, yesterday.
I saw Toy Story 5 last night.
Oh, was it good?
What was it?
It was, it was
Sure, it was cute.
like, I don't think like, it's never gonna beat Toy Story like 3 or 2 or
Fair enough.
I really liked 4. Toy Story 5 to me it's probably the first Toy Story movie that felt unnecessary, but having said that, it's still incredible. Like, it's just it's like one of those ones where you go, look, if we didn't see it, it's not like it's,
Life or Death, yeah.
Yeah, but they make it a Jessie-centric movie, which is really, really smart. There's an incredible Buzz Lightyear subplot that I was like, what the fuck is happening? And then it like culminates and I was like, great payoff. And yeah, Conan O'Brien is in it and is so fun. It's great.
So random.
But no, the fact that they make it a Jessie-centric movie, I think, is its strongest thing because it's really great to give her, to show like what it's meant to her to be this toy that's sort of like passed down, and now the latest girl that has a body, and then it's talking about how technology can really take away kids like imagination. Like, oh, they don't play anymore, but it's like it's also showing like there are some good things about technology, but ultimately, it really has robbed a lot of kids of
like that tactile playing experience,
like the kind of childhood that we had growing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still really, really, really good. But to me, I was just like, yeah, like we didn't need it, but a good / great Toy Story movie is still like, you just go, how these movies still manage to like hit like 30 years later, and you're like, this creative team have the source regardless. So yes, absolutely recommended. So yes, I saw that
Awesome.
one.
What about you, Tiffany?
I'm pretty sure the last movie I saw was Disclosure Day at 10 a.m. on Saturday.
Oh, what did you think of Disclosure Day?
Sucked. No, I'm just kidding. I've actually never heard of it. You know what? It's a TV show, but I still want to plug it because it's so good. But Widow's Bay on Apple TV.
Oh my God, yes. I love it.
It's so good. It's so good.
One episode left. I'm so ready.
It is it's the next one that I want to watch, because right now I've started Cape Fear, and I'm finishing Cape Fear.
I've never seen that.
So and then I will get into Widow's Bay.
Real quick, Peter, on Widow's Bay, I will say the first episode is the weakest episode. It gets exponentially better from there. So the pilot is pilot's still pretty good. Not gonna be wrong. I think Tiffany, you reviewed that. As a matter of fact,
it was the first 2 episodes, and I'm actually gonna add to it. I told Connor I'm gonna write the rest, to review the rest of the whole season.
Yeah. So just if the first episode doesn't really just hook you in, just I would wait one more episode at least, give it a fair shake, because it does get exponentially better.
I think it hooks you in the first episode. It did for me. I'm just saying.
I still liked it, but I thought looking back, I think that was the weakest part. It was the very beginning of it.
That's fair.
They didn't release it in were they weekly?
It was weekly.
Weekly. Yeah.
I think the last episode was the 12th.
Nope, it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Oh, there's 10 episodes? I thought there were 9.
10.
Okay, well, I know nothing. I thought it was I'm still on episode 8, and so I have 9 left. So number 9, and I was like, oh, I think this is the last episode. Now I'm scared. I'm like, oh no, I have one more.
Quick question. How do we feel about, do we like weekly drops, or do we like drops in one go?
Weekly drops, please.
I like weekly drops. It feels more manageable.
But it also just reminds me of the TV shows that I grew up with, where you go,
you appreciate them more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's very rare that you hear people remember, for one weekend, people go, oh my God, I binged XYZ. And then you don't talk about it anymore. And yet you've got something like Widow's Bay, which I see everywhere. I'm like, good, yes, keep people.
You get to ruminate with every episode for a whole week.
Yeah.
And then if for some reason you're like, oh, I haven't been able to watch it weekly, then you go, okay, now I can watch it in one go, or I can watch it kind of in chunks. But yes, I am a weekly person, so I like that you were both weekly people as well, because it makes me feel like an old man when people are like, oh, no one does it anymore. And I'm like, shut up. No,
we yearn for the weekly.
So I also have been watching a TV show, but it's a show from our childhood. I'm only watching it because it's on YouTube for free, and that's the Drew Carey Show.
Oh wow!
Yes.
I was just thinking about that show today. I'm not kidding.
So it's actually also on Plex, that app Plex, but the ads are shorter on YouTube. So, but the last movie I saw was today also. And I guess my pretentious snob side's coming out, but it's a movie I've never seen before, but it's in the Criterion Collection. It's called Kill. Have you heard of Kill? It's from 1968. It's a Japanese samurai film, but it's a comedy film. It's someone says the scary movie of samurai films, or the Naked Gun or Airplane. It's not like gag a minute kind of.
Mm.
It's just more like subtle, just soft humor. But
Yeah,
it was
okay.
it was like if you've seen a couple Kurosawa films, they're very like bleak and depressing. This one I was laughing my ass off. But it's just at the dialogue and a couple of like little comedic beats. It threw me for a loop.
I'm gonna find this.
It's
Well,
on it's streaming on HBO, at least in
Oh,
America.
okay. All right.
So
I'm gonna hope that it's fucking better than the last scary movie. Oof.
oh my god, no, it's
I
something
gotta
that
be-
actually likes. It's don't worry, this is considerably better than that movie.
Oh, I don't think it's
Like-
hard to be really better than that. Like, I'm fucking taking a shit is better than that movie. My god. Ugh.
You're not wrong, Peter. Okay, guys, we have one last quick thing, and then we'll do our closeout. Yeah. So, do both of you do Letterboxd?
Yes.
I do.
I
I probably need to keep up with it more than I do. But
Okay.
but I'm also like, I have a lot of things to say about the letterbox culture, but I won't go into
That's
that.
fair. We'll
Email
cut-
me.
we'll-
We can't talk here.
Yeah. Blink twice, Peter, if they're holding you cap. No. Just real quick, because the cumulative like rankings of all of Spielberg films have been listed. All of
Right.
his 20, 30, 40, however many films he's made. So I'm gonna have you guys guess from the top 10, the bottom 5, 6 through 10, what the top
Ooh.
ranked Spielberg films are on Letterboxd, and I'll give you some help. I'll tell you the first 5,
Okay.
and then you guess the bottom 5. And there's like pages of this shit. So like Disclosure Day is not in the top 10, just for reference.
What?
I know, mind blown. So number 1 is Schindler's List.
Okay.
Number 2 is Saving Private Ryan. Number 3 is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Number 4 is Jurassic Park. Number 5 is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So some pretty obvious heavy hitters. So
I will say, I was expecting Jurassic Park to be higher. I will
the
say.
number 4. That's fair.
Yeah, I thought it would be higher.
So, what are the bottom 5? You think bottom 5? 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You don't have to just throw out titles, and I'll see if they're in the top
Jaws.
5. Jaws is in there. That's number 9.
What? 9?
I thought it would be number 1.
That's my top 4 Letterboxd. Yeah, that's my second favorite movie.
E.T.?
E.T. is number 11.
Yeah, where the fuck is ET? What?
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not helping yourself, Letterbox.
Yeah, put it on another number on the list for Peter. He's like,
They're all unassuming titles. Like,
Munich?
nope.
Random. Fablemans.
Yep, that's
God.
number 7.
I love the Fablemans.
I do. It was a
I
cute
love the
movie.
Fablemans,
liked
but
it.
like, I honestly think that's because it's so recent. Because
Okay.
Letterbox is more recent.
That's
Well,
fair.
hold your horses, Peter, because the other 3 are not recent movies. So we're looking for number 6, number 8, and number 10.
Was Close Encounters on the top 5 or no?
No, Close Encounters is number 12.
What?
Munich was 14, for what that's worth.
Okay. It's not like Jurassic Park Lost World isn't in there, is it?
No. No cheating, Tiffany. I'm just kidding.
No, I was trying to remember when AI came out.
2000. No, 2001. I think.
2001.
Minority Report?
Nope, that is number 15.
Because AI, I don't think is considered one of his classics, so I don't feel like it would be in a top 10.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not in
no.
here either. We're just gonna do this process.
They're gonna
of
feel so
elimination.
obvious, and I'm thinking
Yeah,
way
once
too
you-
hard about it.
I don't know about.
I know
obvious.
this one. I know this one is not in the top 10, but I'm just gonna say it: the Sugarland Express,
No.
which I
Alright.
saw for the first time. not that
Y'all
long
wanna
ago.
move on? I'll just tell you the answers.
Wait, where was War of the Worlds?
That is. Hang on. That is. Hold please. 1, 2. Number
Number
31
Okay, that's criminal. Sorry. No.
Can you give
or
give us a
28.
hint? Give us like a hint.
So number
An actor.
number 7 or number 6. Number 7 was the Fablemans. Number 6 was early in this century.
Oh, in that case.
Like really early. Like turn of the century, kind of early. Like AI early, but not AI.
I was like, is it not AI? What are you talking about now?
Early 2000s.
Has a very frequent Scorsese collaborator in it.
I'm so bad at this.
Catch Me If You Can.
Yep.
Oh.
All right. Number 8 is number 8. It has historically been known as one of the biggest losers in Oscar history. Also from the 80s. Actually, 8 and 10 are both from the 80s. I'll leave it at that. So that rules out everything from this past century.
80s Spielberg.
Hold on. What the fuck?
Are they going to be like really like super obvious?
That's subjective. I'm not sure what obvious. I mean, if you're a Spielberg like devotee, probably not.
Yeah.
Or probably I should say, but if you're a casual Spielberg fan, you're like, oh, that's a movie. That's a Spielberg movie. Who knew?
I just can't think right
Oh no, because it's early. I was for a minute that was like West Side Story, but no, that's too late.
Oh. now. I forgot he did that. Sometimes I forget about that.
Early 8. What was it? 80s.
Mm-hmm. They both are 8 and 10.
80s.
I'm blanking so hard. I keep thinking of 90s movies from him, and I'm like, no, not that.
All right, I'm just gonna give it to you guys, and
Color Purple.
That's number 8. Yep. So number 10.
Number 10
is a very underseen Spielberg film, but also from the 80s.
Twilight Zone?
No. Later 80s.
Empire of the Sun?
Correct.
Oh.
Give that man a prize.
I didn't even think of that.
All right.
Good job, Peter.
Well done. All right.
I was no help.
Here at the Cinefied podcast and on Cinefied, we have a 3-tiered rating system for all of our movies. A bottom score is a spilled popcorn bucket. A mid-level score is a spilled or as a half-empty popcorn bucket, and then a full score, A+, go see it now score is a full popcorn bucket. So what we'll do is very quickly, you guys give me your Cinefied score for Disclosure Day and just like a quick 10-15 second final thoughts on the film. So we'll start with you, Tiffany.
Okay, well, I will give it a half spill because I definitely still think it's worth a watch, and I think it's still fun to go see a movie like this in the summertime. And I'm really looking forward to what kind of conversations this movie is going to bring in the next decade or so.
All right, Peter.
I'm gonna give it a full popcorn because it leans more towards that for me. I just think I think the conversations around it could be really, really interesting. I think it will be one of those movies that over time might treat it quite well. But yeah, I think if you want to go see something that's probably not what you expect, and also for nothing else, Emily Blunt, man, just watch her. She's just incredible. So if the movie's shit, Emily Blunt's performance is at least going to you can't walk away from that and go, oh, she was awful. And if you do, termination. So there you go.
I'm also going to give it a half popcorn. David Koepp's screenplay really just soured the movie for me in many parts that really stopped me from having a really good time with it. I did like the questions it posed, and I like that Steven Spielberg is still taking big swings even at this point in his career. But it's a half for me, dog. Um, but I want to thank Peter and I want to thank Tiffany for joining me today to talk about Disclosure Day. And thank you for listening to the Cinefied podcast. You can find more of our episodes as well as our written review on cinefied.com, including our review of Disclosure Day by Trevor Lavelle. You can follow us on Letterboxd, Peter's favorite place to go, and all major social media platforms to stay up to date with our reviews. Now, pop some popcorn, grab a drink, and remember to stay cinefied.